Hello my friends, it's Johnaroth, and today we're going to play with one of the most popular cards from the new Ether Drift set, and that is Ketramose, the New Dawn. Ketramose is a 4/4 Menace Lifelink Indestructible creature for 3 mana, which is insanely good stats. Now you can't attack or block with him until you exile 7 cards, which sounds like it's really hard to do, but if you build your deck around Ketramose, it's pretty easy to do, and you can get Ketramose attacking and blocking in no time. The thing that makes this card so good is the second ability of Ketramose, and what that says is, whenever one or more cards are put into exile from graveyards and or the battlefield during your turn being the crucial part, you don't want to do it on your opponent's turn, you draw a card and lose 1 life. So whenever you exile a card from the graveyard, exile an opponent's creature, etc., if it's your turn, you're going to draw another card, which is so good. I love card draw. That's one of my favorite things to build my decks around. I love drawing more and more cards. So to me, this is a commander that speaks to my heart and how I like playing the game. So there are a lot of exile effects in this deck to help you get that card draw. A lot of 1-drops like Ghost Vacuum, the Relic, etc. But then there's also a lot of removal spells like Vanishing Verse and Swords to Plowshares. I made my build not around the blink effect that a lot of other people have been doing, which is a good way to go. You can get value from that. But I focused a little bit more on exile, but then wiping the board multiple times and then having planeswalkers to help support Ketramose. Because remember, Ketramose is indestructible. So if you wipe the board with a Wrath of God or a Day of Judgment or a Deadly Cover-Up, Ketramose is still going to be around. He doesn't die. Meanwhile, your opponent's creatures will be dead. And then you have multiple planeswalkers to back up Ketramose, such as the Eternal Wanderer, or Sorin, or Ashiok. Ashiok is a wonder with Ketramose because you can do card draw and exile cards, which also builds up the ability. So the synergy between those two is amazing. I do want to also note I'm running one other new card from Ether Drift, and that is the Speed Demon, which is a 5/5 flying trample creature for 5. I really feel like this card is slept on and underrated because he has the Start Your Engines effect, which means you're going to start your speed at 1. So on the turn you bring out the Speed Demon, you're going to draw another card and lose 1 life. If you attack and damage your opponent, the following turn if the Speed Demon's around, you're going to draw 2 cards, etc. So I really feel like it's a good creature that gives a lot of value that's kind of underplayed in Arena. So take a look into that card. Anyway, Ketramose is a very strong commander and is very popular right now, and I can see why. So let's take him into the queue and let's exile them all. Okay, our first game is against Nicol Bolas, the Ravager. Nicol Bolas is a really strong commander. Can turn into a planeswalker, causes you to discard a card when he comes out onto the battlefield. This hand is good from a mana perspective, but not much else. I like having the Chrome Mox. We'll have mana early in the game. I really think I have to try this, though. I don't really see another way, so we're going to keep. Throw out the Chrome Mox. Put the Farewell underneath there. Okay, he's going to remand Ketramose back to our hand. Perfectly fine. Okay, we have Ketramose on the battlefield, which is great. He summons Rusko, the Clockmaker. Let's see if we can exile Rusko. We get to draw a card. Already getting some of that value from Ketramose. We're also going to exile a card from his graveyard, which draws us another card. Already getting some serious value out of Ketramose. Opponent is debating what to do. He summons a gold span dragon, which gets him a treasure chest. Opponent is eyeing our Chrome Mox and is sending that back to the hand. Interesting choice. Okay, we're going to pay a land. We're going to summon the Wandering Emperor to exile the Goldspan Dragon, which brings us one card closer to being able to use Ketramose. Going to exile a card from his graveyard to draw another card. We're going to put the Chrome Mox back down. And I'm going to put the day... Well... Kaya's really good at exiling things, so I'm going to hang on to that. Bitter Triumph can deal with Nicol Bolas, so I'm just going to exile one card. We do get to swing in with Ketramose, which gets us some of our life back. It's amazing how quickly you can build up the exile effect and start using Ketramose on the battlefield. You do need to have 7 or more cards in exile to use the effect. And you do have to, if you do want to draw, you do have to exile things on your turn, not your opponent's. Opponent's going to kill the Wandering Emperor. I'm not going to do this right now because we would have to sacrifice the Skyclave to even do so. Okay, let's get another swamp. Let's take another card out of his graveyard. Draw. We do have enough mana to summon Ashiok as well as kill Prosper. You definitely do want to kill Prosper. Prosper is a value engine in every way possible. So we're just going to kill him now. We're not going to lose any life because of Ashiok being on the battlefield. Ashiok is great for this deck because he exiles cards if you have to pay life. So as you can see now, Ketramose can, basically every time we summon him, he's just going to be on the battlefield. Because we have 13 cards exiled at this point. So we do seem to be doing fairly well at this game so far. And our opponent scoops. Yeah, we got a lot of value out of that game. Ketramose just putting in so much work. Every time a card is exiled, we're drawing a card. And since we're now able to strike with Ketramose, we're gaining life back because you do lose 1 life for each card you draw. We have removal spells. We have a Planeswalker on the battlefield who's going to get us more cards. Good game, Nicol Bolas. Our next game is against Glarb. I did a video on Glarb. Glarb is a really great commander, a lot of value. This hand only has black mana in it, so I'm going to have to mulligan. This hand is somewhat better. You'll notice I have a Tormod's Crypt, which is great for Ketramose because you can exile someone's whole graveyard, which means you can potentially get all of the cards in exile that you possibly need. We're going to keep this. Throw the Tormod's Crypt on the battlefield. Fighting Glarb is going to be a tough game. Glarb has a lot of counter abilities and spells. Oh, he can exile cards from the graveyard too. He has a Ghost Vacuum. We have an Emperor of Bone. We will take it. We're going to exile the card because he could exile that card anyway. We have 1 card in exile so far. This does seem a little sus that he has not cast anything. I'm actually just going to pump up the Emperor Bone to make him bigger, to deal more damage. We're not going to get anything out of his effect, but it's worth it because our opponent is... We don't want our opponent to counterspell Ketramose, and there probably is some counter spells in the Glarb deck. So since we are the one who has the battlefield presence at the moment, we're going to push our advantage on that and hit him while he figures out his moves. My hope is that he cast Glarb next turn, and then we can kill Glarb with the Dismember, which will also leave us free to bring out Ketramose. But we'll see. He summons Nadu, which is even worse. One of the most broken cards in Magic. I can't believe it actually still exists in Magic. But luckily, we killed him, so that's good. Okay. How many cards does he have in his graveyard? 4, and we have 1. Okay, we're going to summon Ketramose. Hopefully. Unless he has a wash away. We're going to use the Tormod's Crypt on us. Actually, well, let's just wait. Let's hold off. Emperor of Bone's going to take Nadu. He can use his Ghost Vacuum to take it away as well. Attack with the Emperor of Bone for 4. We're going to use the Tormod's Crypt on him to exile all the cards and actually draw another card from his library. And as you can see, Ketramose has gone up quite a bit because of that. Our opponent is thinking carefully. As I mentioned, Glarb is one of my favorite commanders, so I think it's really intimidating when I get to play against him because he does bring so much value.
Another piece.
Okay, he's plotting a card. Looks like he's plotting a Serpent Seeker, which is a 1/1 flying death touch. I've never seen this card before. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal 2 land cards. Put them onto the battlefield tapped, and the rest on the bottom in a random order. Wow, that's pretty good, actually. That's not too bad at all. Okay, we're going to put down a land. Put down the Fabled Passage. We're going to try to kill Jace first before we do anything else. Our opponent is eyeing cards because he knows that I'm going to exile something with the Emperor of Bone. Okay, so he is going to try to kill the Emperor of Bone. We would get a land out of that, which is pretty good, actually. I'm just going to let him do this. We do get to attack with Ketramose. Keep hitting him for 4 each time. Okay, we do get to draw another card because he exiled a card on our turn. Looks like he's going to try to get some more lands on the battlefield. He summons Tamiyo. Looks like he's going to tap Tamiyo, but he's going to be low on mana, so I'm going to kill his Serpent right now.
Such an imperfect form.
It's down to 8. We're going to get another land. He is very low on life. I'm going to wait till our turn so that we can draw some cards. Okay, so I'm going to... I can get rid of Tamiyo and the Frog at the cost of 5 mana. Do you think I'm going to do that so that we can draw some cards?
The gears of the story still turn.
I've got 3 mana left. This is tough. I could bring out the Murderous Rider, but I'd be tapped out. I think I'm going to Swords to Plowshares the Psychic Frog, but I could kill Glorb on his turn, which would be good too. I think I'm going to try to do this so that I can draw another card. Okay, it's our opponent's turn. I'm hoping he exiles another card right now so that we can draw. He does not. I don't blame him. Okay, he's got some blockers. Yeah, Glarb has so much value. It's really unbelievable how much value Glarb brings to the table. Okay. So we have 6 mana. We can... I definitely want to bring out the Ghost Vacuum so that we can start exiling things. I'm going to exile the Serpent. Hopefully, our opponent will try to exile at the same time, because I think we'll get to draw twice, but I'm not sure. I've never had it where 2 exile effects are going on at the same time. Okay. I'm going to bring out the hover ship. Get rid of his Glarb. Opponent brings Glarb back to his hand, which is great. And our opponent scoops. Yeah, there's just too much value going on for us right now. We literally have multiple more cards that can exile. We could use Kaya next turn. We could exile the Alpha if we wanted to. We're going to hit him for 4. He's already down to 4 life. Glorb decks typically are great value, but they're not probably going to have a lot of life game type effects or anything like that. So yeah, we win the game. Okay, this game we're playing against High Marshal Arguel. It's a black and white commander. Our hand is pretty decent because we have mana and we have the Ghost Vacuum, which is proving to be one of the strongest cards in our deck. Throw down the land and then throw down the Mox. We're going to cast the Ghost Vacuum. We've got a setup where we can summon Ketramose on turn 2. Hopefully he doesn't have any sacrifice effects. Okay, he can take one of our cards. He takes the Ossification. We're going to go get a land. We're going to look at the top card. It's mana, so we'll keep that. Okay, we're going to play a land. We're going to summon Ketramose, and we're going to exile a card from his graveyard so we can draw. Brings out an Arcane Signet. We're going to exile a card, take the land from our graveyard. Really close to getting out Kaya. Okay, he brings out his commander. Now it does say when his commander dies, he gets the effect. We're going to summon Kaya. We're going to exile his commander. He may have a sacrifice effect. He does. So that's good. So he's able to get the Arguel's Feast and transform it, and draw 2 cards. Really good move from our opponent. We're going to draw. Draw a land. So you'll notice I have a lot of board wipes in this deck, but they're all destroy board wipes. That's because Ketramose is indestructible. So it's really good to have some of those types of effects in this deck. I'll play a land. I'm going to exile a card so we can draw again. He does have Rata Drabic out, which is a serious problem if we want to do any type of board wipe or anything like that, because he can bring back other creatures when they die. So we're just going to get rid of him. It's kind of an expensive way to get rid of a creature, but worth it. Okay, he summons the Bringer of Last Gift. We do, because of Kaya's ability, get to return Ketramose to our hand. Okay. Now, if we the board, because of Rata Drabic's ability... Oh, wait, this is not a legendary creature, though. Only when legendary creatures die do we have to worry about that problem. So I think I'm going to wipe the board here. And we do have enough to use Kaya's ability again. I'm probably going to target his Gilded Lotus. He summons his commander. He also summons Markov Baron, which is a Vampire Lord. Okay, we're going to bring back Ketramose first. We're going to take a card out of his graveyard, the Rata Drabic. Draw a card. We're going to use Kaya's ability to exile his commander. He may have another... Oh, there we go. He can sacrifice him, so that's good. Gonna summon another land. So he's gonna gain some life. We're gonna summon Shieldred to take out his Markov Baron. Shieldred also does have a really powerful secondary ability. The only problem with Shieldred is that it is a little costly, and sometimes you have to give up some of the other powerful cards to use him, but he does seem to be worth it. He did wipe the board, however, Ketramose is immune to board wipes. And I think our opponent just realized that Ketramose is indestructible, so he basically cannot die from the Fumigate. Really good game, though. That was some good back and forth between two Orzhov decks. Okay, this game we are playing against Ragavan, Nimble Pilferer. One of the strongest aggro decks out there. Ragavan's probably the most powerful one-drop possible, so this could prove to be a problematic game. We don't have any white mana, so I'm going to mulligan. This hand is also not great against Ragavan. Ragavan's very aggressive, so I'm going to mulligan again. And we're going to try this. I don't know if we're going to be successful here against Ragavan because of the fact that he's such a fast commander who can generate a lot of mana really quickly. Okay, brings out Ragavan. Now, normally I would cast the Arcane Signet. Actually, I'm going to be able to because I just drew Dismember. We kind of lucked out there a little bit. I'm going to kill the Ragavan. Like the retro frame on that one. To send him back. If we can get Ketramose going, it's going to be very hard for a red deck to deal with it. He keeps eyeing our artifacts. Does have a Robber of the Rich. So he's going to attack. It's perfectly fine. We are going to bring out Ketramose. Play a land. Exile a card. We do want to target ourselves, so we can draw again. Draw a Wandering Emperor, which is great. Red doesn't have a lot of ways of dealing with indestructible creatures. Unfortunately, we don't have enough cards in exile to attack yet and start gaining back some of our life. But if we can get Ketramose to that state, the game will definitely be in our favor. Early in the game, mono red is very powerful, but towards the end of the game, they can struggle with being able to deal with life gain or bigger creatures. So this is a very fast deck. I think our opponent has some sort of way to destroy artifacts. He does. He uses an Abrade to destroy the Relic of Progenitus, which is a good move on his part. I would have done the same. Okay. We are going to kill the Robber of the Rich. Keep up the Arcane Signet because this is a mono red deck, which means we can target all of his cards. It's not as good to use the Vanishing Verse on his turn, so there is a trade-off because we could have gotten some card draw out of that, so it's kind of debatable if that was really the best move. Okay. Is a Bloodfeather Phoenix, and he's going to hit us for 2 with Bone Crusher Giant. I am going to wait till our turn. Simply, we can use the Vanishing Verse to exile his Phoenix so it can't come back. We draw another land, which is great. And we hold. Just have to keep exiling cards. And keep drawing cards. I have to make a decision here. I could summon the Wandering Emperor right now. If I cast the Parting Gust on my turn, I'll be able to draw a card. However, I'm not going to have any other way to cast the Wandering Emperor because I've only got 3 white mana right now. So I'm just going to cast her right now and summon a Samurai.
Overconfident. You're just guards to me.
These moves are just too good for me to pass up. I'm going to create a Samurai token and then give it
Thank you for your help.
a +1. We're going to hold off. This is a very tricky game because we're playing against mono red, which can kill you quickly with direct damage, but I just cannot pass up having such a great setup of planeswalkers. So let's see if this pays off for us or not. Okay, he's going to strangle the Wandering Emperor.
Still have much to learn.
Okay, summons Chandra.
The best pyromancy student.
Go get him, but oh, they're so cute.
And I don't know if he's going to attack with all 3 or not. It probably would not be a good move for him to do that. Quite honestly. I would wait if I were him, but no, he's going to go for it. Okay, we're going to block. He may kill one of our tokens. Okay, we drew a blot out, which is great. Because we can exile something of his. He has to choose. We will get to draw another card. Okay, we're going to summon Tormod's Crypt. He has 3 cards in his graveyard. We have 5. So we're going to exile our graveyard to give enough for Ketramose to attack. Now we're going to go after him. And our opponent concedes. We managed to take down the mono red deck. Mono red is tough to take on early in the game, especially with Ketramose, which is kind of a mid-control deck. But if you can hold off against the initial onslaught, if you have it where Ketramose is actually able to attack with his life gain and is indestructible, it is so hard for a mono red player to beat that. So really good game, Ragavan. Thank you so much for watching my video featuring Ketramose, the New Dawn. Ketramose lives up to the hype. It's probably one of the most popular cards out of the Aether Drift set, and I can see why. You get a lot of value from it. You're going to draw a ton of cards. You're going to lose a little bit of life, but that loss is almost nothing, and you do start to gain it back once Ketramose can attack. So do I recommend Ketramose as a commander? Yes, I do. I really do. You do have to be careful with a lot of control decks or decks that are going to try to counter Ketramose, but you do have some value in some creatures and planeswalkers to help back him up, so that it's not 100% dependent on just Ketramose as a commander. I did put the deck list in the description below so you can check out my build of this. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. As a new YouTuber, I really appreciate your support. Thank you so much for watching my video. Have a great day.